Hello, David.
Hello, Mike.
How are you?
Well, thank you. And you?
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I'm well. Hello, Adnan.
What's up, Mike? How we doing, man?
We're doing well. Basking in the glow of Saltburn. Liking it even more after our conversation.
You and Samson, we need to reenact that scene in the tub.
That's not like it's on the metal Sam, but it's not the most shocking scene in that movie.
The vampire
No,
scene
no,
was an
that's
interesting
Particularly
one.
for you, I'm a vampire.
I think the humping of a dirt pile. Man.
Yeah. Well, hey, whoa.
Sorry.
Spoilers.
Spoiler
No
alert.
Spoiler alert here. Big Saltburn
I haven't seen
audience.
it
Sorry.
Dan, give us a count in.
No, we've already started. I want to talk about Saltburn.
No, you can't give that. That's a big
Yes.
spoiler. That's a big spoiler.
We've already talked about. Put a spoiler
Did he
alert.
humped a dirt pile?
Hold on a
Not a
second.
spoiler.
Yeah, that's a pretty shocking scene.
All right, let's do this. Put on the front of this episode, wherever it needs to be put on the screen right now. Spoiler alerts all over the place, even though we have started.
You already spoiled.
That's all right. You spoiled it.
I was just bantering back and forth before we went on the air.
Well, this is Saltburn is the name of the movie. I've wanted to see it, and I stopped because Wesley Morris wrote in the New York Times, Saltburn is the sort of embarrassment you'll put up with for 75 minutes, but not for 127. It's too desperate, too confused, too pleased with its petty shocks to rile anything you'd recognize as genuine excitement.
Agreed.
It's a
Way to go, Wesley Morris. Way to go, Wesley Morris.
It's
That's
a
good
I
stuff.
loved it.
It's a scathing.
So did I,
What?
David.
Dan, did you hear that? Samson said he loved it. That's ridiculous.
I'm Team Samson on this one. I think I kind of loved it too.
All right, before we get to it, though, because I want you guys to bicker about a movie that is modern, Promising Young Woman is the reason that people are excited about this movie. It's the next effort, correct, since Promising Young Woman. And the Wesley Morris review has made me he kills it. He just crushes the movie again and again and for a number of different reasons. But go ahead, Adnan, please.
Yeah, I can follow to what Wesley Morris is saying, Dan. It's a poor man's talented Mr. Ripley. I mean, this is just...
You read that on Google, Adnan.
No, that's it. Samson's exactly what is true. This movie is meant to shock and offend and has no actual substance or soul to it. It's trying so hard, and I'll agree with Mike. It's audacious, and it's certainly bold, and it's unforgettable. I mean, there's several scenes. Thank God I'm a vampire. I mean, there's scenes that are going to stay in my memory, but not for the right reason. It's just lewd and vulgar and, quite frankly, indecent, and nothing personal. I'm shocked that you loved it.
David, hold on a second. Before you give us your critique, this is also coming from Wesley Morris. The whole movie seems to exist for its coda and presumably the prosthetics designer whose name appears in the closing credits. It's another music video fantasia, but so cynical, literal-minded, and literally cheeky that I cringed my way through it.
That's great.
So you listen to that reviewer because you've seen him review other movies that you've watched and you agree with his takes?
I would say to you that I was interested in watching this movie, and then that takedown was so scathing that I just sort of put it in the queue. I'm like, I'll get to it. I'll get around to it. But it was scathing enough that I respect this person's opinion that I don't need to watch it right now.
That's a lot of power to give to a reviewer.
He's a good reviewer.
No, Wesley Morris is a smart guy, Dan. Listen, if we can spoil a little bit further, there's a scene where Barry Coggin's in love with a character, okay? He sees him masturbating in a hot tub. And after that character leaves that hot tub, there's a close-up of him slurping the tub water, which he's masturbating in. I mean, Dan, you don't want to see this movie.
That's a big spoiler. A part of this film's experience is the shock value that this segment is totally neutering, by the way. And I do respect Wesley Morris's movie opinions, and I respect Adnan's, and I think that it's a totally accurate take. I would not think you less than if you stood up watching this in a movie theater and walked out. This is a very audacious film. It's probably why I liked it. Hyper stylized. I thought the performances in such a surreal environment were super believable. Really good performances in this film. I love the way that it was made. Maybe it was made specifically for me. No, not that I'm a fiend, but I left college around the same time that these young people are leaving college. So everything from the music to the fashion was for such an instrumental time in my life that I saw a lot of that era in this film. I thought it was shocking in a good sense, kind of the way that I haven't been shocked by a film like that since The Lighthouse. And I really, the more I talk about it, the more people have these strong opinions about it, I realize that the filmmaker did something right. and I like it more because of it.
Have you ever looked down into a drain? Like really looked into it and see what's there?
Let my boy cook.
It's not pretty.
Thank you, Tony.
Prude.
David?
Yeah, I'd like to explain that the point of the movie, without spoiling it, is that there's a lot of people who think they want someone else's life and that the grass is greener, and people think that having money or not having money is really the impetus for how you get through life. And this movie does a great job with what will be nominated performances, several of them, in a script that also could be nominated because it's that good. And what people are complaining about is shocking. If you want plain vanilla, then go see a Disney movie. Go see an ordinary movie that just exists. But if you want to actually be intrigued intellectually and stimulated, both intellectually and for some people physically, maybe.
Yeah.
Stimulated is the right
Watch
word,
the
and perhaps
movie.
titillated. I'll push
Titillated.
back. Several performances are not going to be nominated for Oscars. Maybe one. Rosamund Pike, supporting actress, is excellent, and
you're
maybe
not-
the script. The script is a good
You're
chance.
not giving Barry Keoghan deserves a
And
nom.
He's not getting
Lordy,
nominated,
he
Mike.
was
I'll tell you
great,
right now.
too.
The best actor nominees, I'll give it to you right now. Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Leo for Killers of the Flower Moon, Jeffrey Wright, A Hope American Fiction, Coleman Domingo for Rustin. Those four potentially. And then after that, there's a bit of a gray
Wait,
area.
Adnan, you
Barry
just said you
Keoghan.
guaranteed the nominations, and now you only named 4 and then said potentially.
It's not
You
going to be
come
Barry
out
Coggin.
so
I'll tell you, I'll put
strong.
$1,000. It's not Barry Coggin right now. There's no way he doesn't get nominated.
It's not
Well,
a
that's
perfect.
not his name, so he definitely won't be nominated. You're right.
It's not a perfect like eat the rich story that I think everybody wanted it to be. I think that's where it maybe came up a little bit short. Like it sort of hints at some of that, but if you just want to be entertained, and that's what I want out of a movie a lot of the time. Like it made me think just enough. It had incredible performances. I mean, you mentioned Rosamund Pike. There were a couple of like monologues from her that were hilarious and wonderful, and the script was perfectly woven together with that. And it did make you question. The only issue that I had is the end almost like ties everything together a little too well, maybe, and gives you everything. I wish I would have been left wondering a little bit more, but I was blown away by those scenes and how well they were acted. And if you're really looking, like, yes, obviously some of those things push the envelope a little far into obsession, but that's the point of the movie. It's all fantastical. It's all very camp. And I love a camp movie.
And
There's
it's so-
no reason not
A
to
guy
enjoy
goes
it.
down on a woman while she's on her period.
Whoa,
You're telling me
whoa,
that's
whoa,
camp?
Hold on.
But
But these shocking cinematic moments are actually strangely beautiful to look at because the cinematography is so on point. Like this film is a spectacle. There's a reason why the word of mouth around this movie, its memeability, is carrying it through a popularity that is still ascending, by the way, and is only going to get helped by segments like this. I think you have to watch this movie. I think it's a must-see film this year.
2 other nominees, by the way, Henry Coggin, because Samson made fun of me. Giamatti for The Holdovers, which I know you also loved, and Bradley Cooper for Maestro. Coggin's not getting nominated. There you go.
Keegan.
So now you're at 6.
It's a fine.
So
6.
you're
I'll give you
get-
one more. All of Us Strangers. Andrew Scott. He's excellent.
There's only
7.
5,
That's 7
Adnan.
nominees. I know. So I'm telling you, that's how far down Barry Keoghan is. You said guaranteed there's several nominations. He's not getting nominated. He's 8th on the list at best.
Well, that's because they're wrong, because he was spectacular.
He's
he was
become-
so good.
With this performance, he kind of sealed it with Banshees, which is why I wanted to see this. And the filmmaker in the trailer captured me right away, from the music to the way that it was shot to the art direction to the graphics that they overlaid on it. Barry Keoghan is now a must-watch actor for me. Anything that he does, I'm all in on his choices.
We're in on Banshees and that feckin' donkey, no matter what Stan Van Gundy says.
All right, Adnan Virk. This is a part that Chris Cody knows this side of Adnan Virk better. Anyone who listens to Cinephile knows this part of Adnan Virk. He's dirty. Look, he's dirty. The sex stuff. He gets appalled by it. No, listen, you're dirty.
You once said it well, Dan. You said, for a man who's so polished, there's an undercurrent of pervert.
I mean, and it's not so
That's
much.
a horrible way to describe yourself.
It's not so much an undercurrent.
That's why I'm shocked you didn't like it.
you should love it.
It's an undertow, and you can get swept out to sea in it because he loves gratuitously breaking free of the MLB Network shackles and describing, well, a film has given me permission to utter the phrase, go down on a woman while...
Honestly, I'm so mad at this segment because part of this experience is the shock value. And to be shocked in this day and age, when they shoot things on film that even the most warped minds couldn't even conceive.
They're showing boobs during the Sugar Bowl.
Jessica, you took off your headset at some point during this segment because you don't want it spoiled. I want on the front end of this, okay, video and audio, large, loud spoiler warnings. I'm not interested in ruining this movie for people when the shock value is part of the appeal, okay? So put on all the warnings because we started a segment while you guys were just talking. But Jessica, I've lost you in a segment that was meant to connect with today's movies because these guys are always talking about goddamn Caddyshack.
Great
No,
film.
this is my fault, Dan, because believe it or not, I was going to watch Saltburn last night because Mike texted me and told me we were going to talk about it. And then I turned on a David Suchet Poirot from 2001, Five Little Pigs. It was excellent. So that's on me. Watched a 30-year-old television movie instead. My bad.
But you took off your headsets because you don't want this spoiled. And how much spoiling are we doing? And we've only got 90 seconds left here, Samson. How much spoiling are we doing when we're talking about the rarest of things now in movie going? A movie shocks you.
I'd rather you not go to a movie and look for a scene and wait for it, because part of this movie is not knowing when the next most unbelievable thing is going to happen, and you're watching characters descend into madness, and if you know where it ends, then it doesn't matter where it starts, and that's the problem with spoiling this.
Okay, Cinephile, where Adnan Virk plays to his perversions. I've seen this. You laugh, but you did this with the Basset Hound. You use the movies as cover to be extra dirty. And
Do you really
Aaron
think this is
Rodgers.
going to get a bigger audience here? This is what we're looking for, where he plays to his perversion.
Glad we did an entire segment on this because I do think it is a seminal film. I think
so good.
In retrospect, when we look back
Seminal.
on it, it'll speak to a generation, and it is that important that people watch.
There's definitely some seminal going on in this movie.
I knew that was going to happen. He took the root of seminal and he made it semen because he's dirty Adnan Virk. He can't help himself. It's disgusting. Get out of here. Cinephile is where you can check out his perversions if you want them. You are getting crushed by the room here. You hated this movie and everyone else here likes it.
Wesley Morris and me, we stand united. Go see American Fiction instead. Read the screenplay. I have it here
Stop
as well.
showing your free stuff. Disgusting.
If you've been with us this long, this far, felt some of the last 2 years that has engulfed my life, you know that I've had no shortage of bad feelings over the last 2 years. But I enter this segment right now feeling and reeling from what I believe to be, for me personally, I don't know what the answer to this is for the rest of you, but for me, I'm coming out of, in the break, what I believe to be one of the worst things that I can feel, which is the following. I'm not lying about something, but people I care about think I'm lying about something. And I've only felt it twice at this company in 2 years. Once is right around Freedom, when I was walking my dog in a video, and I did clean up his after I turned off the video, but nobody believes me. Nobody believes me because in the video, I didn't clean up the so they think that I just leave dog all over Miami. The only other time I felt that is right now during the break, because I came out of the bathroom preoccupied with my own thoughts, and I forgot to put a toilet seat down that was up when I got there. And when I opened the door to the bathroom, Jessica and Mike Ryan are looking at me. And I realize in that moment of shame, oh man, I haven't washed my hands. So I had remembered I've got to go back and put the toilet seat down. But first I got to wash my hands because they think I'm that kind of gross. And they think they caught me as the culprit that continues to leave the toilet seat up around here. And I am not that culprit. I forgot this time, but I am not that culprit. And the problem is, they don't believe me. And I'm stuck in a situation, Tony, where it doesn't matter how I defend this, I'm going to sound defensive. And to me, it's one of the worst feelings in the world to not be lying and that people who know you think you're lying. They don't believe you.
I love when I leave the bathroom and nobody's there because then I don't have any judgment of anything. But when somebody's out there, I do feel a little worried. Even though I've checked all the boxes, I've cleaned the pee off the toilet seat, or I put it up, or I put it down, or I wash my hands. I feel like everybody's just judging you when you walk out of the bathroom. Like I judge Chris anytime he
It
goes
was
to the bathroom.
vulnerable. It was vulnerable to open the door, and I'm in my own thoughts, and I know I haven't washed my. I know I've forgotten something else, and I haven't washed my hands. But I'm telling you guys, I am not the culprit who keeps leaving that toilet seat up. I am not. I do not do it at home.
Oh, it's me. I leave the toilet seat up all the time.
What?
I leave it up all the time.
You too?
Yeah, me too, of course.
See, Dan, you kind of backed into something else you admitted there. Like you were really focused on this toilet seat, but all I heard there is you putting your junk germs on the door.
Regardless of your intention, I'm quick to judge that your process is all wrong. You don't go door first. Who goes door first in that sequence?
We literally caught you piss-handed. You had opened the door before washing your hands or lowering the seat. Who does that? How am I supposed to believe this?
fair.
Wait,
Crude
Dan,
defense.
the seat was up, and then you put it down?
No, the seat was up, and I didn't put it down. The seat was up when I walked in.
Yeah, because you clearly followed Tony.
No, I haven't gone to the bathroom yet today.
Animal.
I've never wiped down a seat as much as I do at these bathrooms.
100%.
Because you guys have
That's
me
why I
so
judge
scared.
Chris.
Thank you.
Even when I don't make any mess, I get a piece of toilet paper, I wipe down the entire seat, and just in case there's like one single drop.
That's very courteous.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you.
No.
I want to shake your hand.
I have felt bad
I didn't wash my hands.
for Jessica, for Lucy, for Kristen, for Hildy, for Cynthia, all because we shared 2 bathrooms, and we are hyena. I think that's the plural of hyenas. Is it singular, hyena? Whatever. The people around here have not learned very basic things. So I have felt bad for the women around here. But Jessica specifically, it wasn't even Mike's shame, even though Mike was pointing straight at me. Last time I had seen someone point like that is my mother and my father one time ended up at a topless, at a nude beach. And my mother didn't trust my father to go in there and be any kind of normal human being. And she turned around at one point and there was a woman there who didn't have a shirt on and he was just pointing straight at her chest. And that's how Mike Ryan pointed at me because he caught me penis-handed on I'm the toilet seat culprit. I am not the person who has left that bathroom a mess. You don't believe me. I don't blame you for not believing me. Do you guys agree with me, though, that it's one of the worst feelings in the world not to be caught in a lie? I think it's worse to not be lying and feel like people aren't going to believe you than to actually be caught in a lie.
It's worse to go into the bathroom and have to put the seat down yourself. That is the worst feeling. And then to sit on the seat and get Tony's piss splatter on your butt cheek.
First off,
I mean, it is just foul.
First off, I do not pee with the thing down. Number one. Number two,
Which thing?
when I put the toilet seat, I do not pee with the toilet seat down. I always put it up with my foot.
And then you leave it up.
And then I leave it up for the guy behind me, right?
There are women that
Sure.
work in this establishment.
Sure.
And other guys who might want the seat down.
It's
Jeremy, you have the
it's
seat
not
down? You
hard.
pee with the seat down?
It's not.
That's not the
It's not
point.
Sometimes you can poo-poo with your
Secondarily,
butt.
I clean whatever is outside of the toilet seat. Whatever's on the toilet lid,
Oh,
I take it and I clean it.
Clean so much pee that isn't mine.
So have I.
Agreed.
Here's
So
the other
same,
thing.
same.
Here's the other thing. Now we have caught Dan handed. Tony's admitted to it. I've caught another person here leaving the seat
You haven't
up.
caught me dick-handed.
Whoa.
That's 3 people now that I know for a fact have left the seat up.
It's just a courteous thing. It shows that you respect your coworker.
I respect my coworkers in other ways.
I am sorry, Jessica, and I also still
Name them.
I'm going to have this on me all weekend because it's that I remember how I felt after Freedom. I'm like, no one believes me because why would they believe that I would turn the video off and then go back up and clean the?
Jeremy, leave.
Shut up,
Man,
dude.
we don't respect you.
Wow, that escalated quickly. Well, there's
I leave it up to have Jeremy pee with sitting down. That's what I
Jeez,
do.
man.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jeremy. That was so
That got
heavy-handed.
really personal.
But he's-
Everyone really doesn't like me here, huh?
He speaks for all of us. So moving back to what it is that I wanted to get to, because Chris Cody has over his right shoulder a listener sent us something that I'm very excited about. I did not know. The printed word is dying. I don't know who sent this, but it made me smile as soon as I saw you open it. Greg Cody's column, Trading Dan Marino, is now in the corner of that room haunting Chris Cody. That column, can you stand up? Can you read some of that
Please
column?
don't have me read.
I'd
Please
like
read.
for
Please
you.
read aloud for the class.
I would like for you to read if you can see, because the type is
I'm gonna grab it.
is very large.
This is like an eye exam.
Yes, that's okay. You're going to grab it, yes, and read from that column. We head into the biggest
camera
Dolphin
work.
game around here in at least 6 or 7 days. And Greg Cody wrote the most famous Dolphin column ever written. After writing this column, he appeared out front in front of the Herald building, and his voice was modulated and his face was distorted because they were trying to protect him. At the time, that's the only sports person in town we had who basically ever mattered. And Greg Cody traded him. Jessica, what are you laughing about? Do you want to read some of this, or you just want to put pressure on Chris while he's reading?
I asked if there were any big words we needed to practice, and he said,
Assumption.
Okay. Let's just hear. This is Greg Cody, Dolphin historian, trading the greatest player in the history of the Miami Dolphins because the Dolphins had Scott Mitchell.
Why'd you move to look at me better? Trade Dan Marino. Keep Scott Mitchell. There. That's what the unspeakable looks like in print. It may be time to start thinking about it. Much too early to let the idea set in cement, obviously. But not to wait. But not to weigh the increasingly. God damn it, man. See, like the word starts here and then it's a dash and it finishes on the other side.
newspaper column.
But not to weigh in the increasing possibility. Mitchell was brilliant in Sunday's 30-10 Dolphins route of. All right, we got the gist.
All right.
I actually want to read this, Chris.
So do I. Jessica, you go ahead and
Tough
take
one,
it.
Kansas City. I know.
Jessica, you go ahead and take it, and you show people how it is that you don't climb in this business.
He is so actively rooting against Jess right
It's
now.
the actual size of a newspaper.
I'm also terrible at reading on air, but that's besides the point. He
Well, it's a
stung
lot.
good-
It's a lot of pressure.
He stung a good defense for 22 of 33 passes for 344 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, making it 2.5 very good games in 2.5 games since stepping in for Marino. I felt even before Sunday's Mitchell extravaganza, trust me, that Miami will face a monumental decision after this season. Sunday utterly convinced me. Just maybe, there will be no reversing the gears. Fate set in motion that day at Cleveland Stadium. Imagine it, number 13 has thrown his last pass for the Dolphins.
She reads good.
Yeah, pretty good. This is what I want to do around here because I've got to tell you guys, I don't know if you've realized it, the media environment is shrinking and getting crushed. Stephen A. Smith is obviously planning his exit at ESPN. He's 18 months from a contract.
At the very least, planting leverage.
Right. Well, planning the ability. He's got his contract comes up in 18 months, and he's saying to people, "I'm a bigger star than anyone on the Knicks." He says, and it's a damn shame," he says, and it's not a damn shame. He's a bigger star than all of the people on the Knicks. Not most of them, all of them. Stephen A. Smith is more famous than Jalen Brunson. He's more famous than anyone who presently plays for the Knicks. And you're in the middle of McAfee fighting the machine or dealing with the machine. He's going to have a choice to make about Aaron Rodgers, his friend who he pays. That's going to be a difficult choice for his fan base to stomach if he can't protect Aaron Rodgers from Bob Iger and has to get rid of Aaron Rodgers for some way. In the middle of that media climate, a shaky, shaky media climate, there are a ton of people who want to work at Meadowlark Media. Like from here to Jacksonville, most of them can read.
It's my job.
And one of the things that's been noticed by the people in the other room is there are opportunities here. Miami media is kind of crumbling. The local television reporter makes $50,000 a year. Like, media's in trouble. It's been eaten up by Wall Street. And we've got a media company. And we've got people outside our doors who work for us who want at the microphones and want at the opportunities. And one of them is John Reed, who got a taste last week of the applause from our audience. John Reed was a hero last week because he got in hot water in Iowa for violating federal air regulations.
Allegedly, Dan.
John Reed has produced a country song and wants a budget at the Super Bowl to go to a rodeo and become a country music star. He has produced a video for our show because he wants to be a star. Why are you laughing, Tony? Why are you laughing?
Oh my God.
I just got the preview in the video.
All right.
It's
Well,
so good.
I asked. I've got a break here. Okay.
You have to do it here. We have Adnan and Samson, so you have to do it here.
I want. Okay. I've got to do it here.
Got to do it here.
Let's get to this video of John Reed. He's applying for the budget to make a song at the Super Bowl because Meadowlark Media, for some reason, is sending 30 people to the Super Bowl, and John Reed believes this is his star turn. Let's see what he's got.
Viva Las Vegas, here we come. Hey, 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 who? Is that Dan? Is that Stu? Is that Mike, Ryan, Billy, Gil, Chris, and Greg, too? Is that Juju? Out in Vegas. Oh boy, is that Roy? Is that Roy? Talking hockey at the bar. Look, you done took it too far. Out in Vegas, Roy to the penalty box. Viva Las Vegas. Hey, 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 who? Is that Jessica too? Is that Luke? Is that Lucy the Foot Girls crew? I'm just playing, I'm just saying touche, tache. Out in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas all night long. Viva, Viva, Viva Las Vegas all night long. Hey, hey, oh, it's a party, it's a party, it's a parlay. It's a party, it's a party, it's a parlay. It's a party, it's a party, it's a parlay all night long.
Hey, 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 who?
To reserve your tickets, go to circuitlasvegas.com/stadium-swim/Dan-Le Batard-show.
Come on.